Okay. Well, try this for a second shot. How this all began. Started with Anthony Kayeski. He was going around selling what I figured out about viruses. And, he was selling it to other countries, rich people, and corporations. And he pocketed all the money. So what happened? Saudi Crown Prince died. And they notified our government. And when that happened, Tony was arrested. And they released him. He wore an anklet. And he was either out on probation or parole, one of the two. Don't know. They never kept me informed. And I never had an order of protection. They sent him back to my house. That was the Department of Homeland Security that did that. Then, Saudis wanted their money back, contacted our government again, and the State Department got involved under Hillary Clinton. And that's when my house turned into a drug house. They were manufacturing drugs there. And, like I said, no order of protection. Tons of violence, tons of abuse going on there. Not only towards me. Drug dealers were being killed. Their money and their possessions were being taken. And I heard about it actually from the people in the neighborhood and other drug dealers. The cars were being chopped up. I heard about that from the guy who worked on the cars in the neighborhood. And, their possessions, I reported that to the court and to my lawyer. There were tons of people's possessions in my house that didn't belong there. And, so he was keeping the drugs and pocketing money and other stuff too. And, so this continued until right before I left the house. And the house was completely destroyed. I lost everything. And this is your government. This is how it makes its money. Drugs. And so, like I said, your government doesn't care. Your government sanctions drugs when it warrants it. And I haven't had any contact with him. Let's see, was it it was about a year over on River Road. It was over by Vulcan Street till July 4th. And I went to New York for a week, and then I came back. It was a homeless shelter, women's shelter in Buffalo for a month. Then I left Buffalo completely. Never came back. But I haven't had any contact with any physical contact where I've seen them. Tony, oh my God, it's been over 6 years. My mother stopped contact with her back in Portland. About 6 months after I got to Portland. And she went back to Tony. So you could hear him in the background and when we were on the phone. So I cut all contact off with her. And told her I made it very clear, both to my brother and to my mother. It's either him or it's me. And that's it. He tried to kill me. He tried to kill my mother. And he wanted to kill my brother. It was supposed to go me, my brother, and then everything we had was supposed to go to my mother, and then he was going to kill her off and inherit. He can't inherit. He's not my father. He has no family ties to me at all. So he would not be able to inherit. And same my brother. So that was the plan, and I did report that to the Buffalo police because I heard him tell the woman next door, the one that we call Loopy Bird or Misty or Jen or Stephanie. Those are her names. But she was the one that she did not respond back to him because I was standing right behind Tony and she was looking at me, so I could just see me clearly. Also, he started this whole organization, the family. It is a terrorist criminal organization, and he'd been dealing and manufacturing drugs for years. My mother was going to go into a nursing home, so they did an asset research on them, search on them, and they found that he had a bunch of drug houses under other family members' names that had died, and that he had about 10 drug houses that were hot. And so this was nothing new by the time I got to my house. I did not know about this. Obviously, my brother did. And which is part of the reason why I do not bother with him anymore either. Not only that, he chose Tony. So that ended very quickly. But my mother, the last conversation I had with her, she says that she considered these people that were doing this her children. This is this family thing. In order to join this family, it's very interesting what you have to do. One, you have to have sex with them. And back in Buffalo, it was with Tony. And you had teenagers, everything else, doing this. And eventually, and then they had to commit a crime, and that crime was on me. So, yeah, these are these yahoos, and there is drug dealers. As far as the order of protection goes, these people were there before the order of protection. It was taken out when Tony had pressed charges on me, and charges were dropped because there was no evidence, and I went to the court, and I had it extended to be permanent, and this is exactly why. But that's what you have to do to get into the family. You got to sleep with them, and basically you're going to be reprogrammed at that point, and then you have to go commit a crime, which they send you out to do. So, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, they can all go to hell and stay there. I don't even have contact with my extended family. I went to them for help, and they turned me away. So, I don't bother with them at all either. Jackie, my brother's baby's mom, I don't know what status she holds right now. She was Tony's party girl before she got with John. This has all been set up by Tony. This has been years in the making. This wasn't just a out of the air thing happen. And she came over on River Road and picked up drugs from the same people that are sitting on me now. And her daughter. She sold her daughter for drugs. She was raped. And,
Donnie W, can you please come down to the lobby? Donnie, to the lobby, please.
so, I already know what waits my, niece with my brother, with her. And, nothing to do about it. Nothing I can do about it. And nothing I will do about it. So, like I said, these people paid a big price for what happened. And they don't seem to care. And neither do I. I have other things I figured out where I can make money. So, I ain't worried about it. But that's how this whole thing started. And the major key players, the government is fully involved in this whole mess. That's it.